Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Flashpoint TV, manifesting the moment of your big breakthrough. My name is Austin J. Haynes, and next to me is my lovely co-host, Miss Mandy Robinson. So,
good afternoon, Austin. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. You look radiant as ever. You have a special smile on your face today.
Maybe because I'm looking at you. I'm joking.
Well, you had a pretty amazing week, is it not true?
Yes, it is true. A really amazing week. If anyone had have said to me, even just a couple of years ago, that you would be entertaining something to do with the Queen Elizabeth II, who sits on the British throne in 2022, I would have said you're crazy. So we're going to get into that in a little while. My experience with the Queen's Jubilee. I'm looking forward to that. Very excited.
Very exciting. And we have a special guest.
We do.
Mr. Christoff J. Weihman will be joining us. You'll learn more about his story and what's happening here in the Philadelphia area. But first, Mandy, why don't we kick off the show? And I will start
with our routine. Yes.
Yeah, this is the routine for the show. So if you're here, if you've been here, you know the way we kick the show off. If it's your first time, I want to welcome you in today. And the first thing we do is we use this hourglass. I know you've seen this before. The hourglass is a beautiful symbol. And it's a reminder to live in the present moment, that what has happened. It's in the past. We can't go back and change it. The future has yet to unfold, and we don't know, although we can be intentional, we can create visions, we can do all the things that we know, but truthfully, we can only be right here. And as we watch it, and as I watch the sand myself, it speaks to me in different ways every time. And it's a reminder. Here's why we do this. This is the reason why we share the hourglass. It's a reminder to dial back into the present moment. We don't get upset if we think about the past too much, right? Sometimes we do that. We don't, and sometimes we might worry about the future. What we want to invite you to do is learn from the past, reflect on it, create a compelling vision for the future, and bring it into this present moment and remind yourself that now is all we ever have. So there's the hourglass to kick us off today.
Perfect start. So the next thing we do, and I'll get you to grab a hold of the Edison light bulb. And this is fascinating. And the inspiration that came to me today is just, it's amazing. So Thomas Edison, whether it was 3,000 or 10,000 ways, there seems to be some arbitration over that from what I've seen, but who cares? He had a vision, he had a dream, and he started to find a way for electricity to create illumination in people's homes and environments. And however many ways it was, I'm going to say 10,000 because it almost seemed that way. Right. 10,000 times of creating this thing, this light bulb, were unsuccessful. Now, did Edison say to himself after the first 100, the first 1,000, whatever, I'm done, I can't do this? No, he found 10,000 different ways. In other words, the ways beforehand hadn't worked, so each one became a new way of discovering his success with the light bulb. And the metaphor for this, and the word that comes to my mind, is the word courage. The word courage. Yes. Because he had the courage to step outside of his comfort zone, which might even have been somewhat fear-based because he didn't seem to be getting very far. Right. But his determination, his conviction, and his consistent action taken was courageous. He had to be courageous to have gone all those thousands of times to have reached the success that he did. So in our lives, what do we need to be courageous for? Even in this present moment of time, on this day, what is it that we need to take courage and say, okay, I'm going to step out of fear, which is the negative emotion. I'm going to step into courage, which is the light bulb moment. And I am going to do this for me. for my success.
Yes.
And I'm never going to give up. And that's the other side to the metaphor. He never gave up. And anyone who is courageous and steps into their courage never, ever, ever sees giving up as an option.
And there's so many great metaphors in this story about being so committed, so driven to create this iteration. This light bulb was purchased. I went to Menlo Park. I was on site where the light bulb was finalized, you know, the final iteration after 10,000 failures. And what a beautiful way to talk about courage. So
absolutely.
As you watch the hourglass reminding you to be in the present moment, as you look at the Thomas Edison light bulb, use this as a reminder for you. These are great visuals. Every time you flip on the light, maybe in your home, you know, we flip on the lights every single day. What if
multiple times? Yeah.
Use that as a reminder to stay at it, to stay committed. You deserve it. Just as Thomas Edison did.
Yeah, we all do. And we all have it in us, right? There's this uniqueness about each one of us that has all this inside. And if we just tap into it, like with the hourglass, and it comes to fruition, the magic happens, right? The transformation happens, the breakthrough. So the last thing we do is we go to our beautiful cowbell. What's that all about, Austin? Has it changed color?
I have a couple different ones. I'm going to get a branded one soon. I am going to get a branded cowbell for everybody. What's up, Alejandro?
Alejandro, I can't see names, but hello. Hi, Alejandro.
And the cowbell is a fun way to highlight a funny moment, something that maybe an aha moment. Well, we also use the light bulb too. If you have like a light bulb moment, you know, like, oh my goodness, I see it differently now, you know? So that might happen throughout the course of the show, because ultimately we want you to walk away with something. Like that's what this is. If otherwise it's entertainment, which there's nothing wrong with entertainment, but we want you to be inspired as well as infotainment. That's the new term, right?
Infiltrate. I love it.
So Mandy, this is a great way to kick off the show. We got a great show planned.
Very
today.
exciting. So just back up to the cowbell there. Anybody that has a light bulb, now I'm saying a cowbell moment, pop it in the chat room. If it's something you hear, something that comes up to your mind that you want to add to the show, pop it in the chat room and just say cowbell. And Austin has muscles that he can ring that cowbell with.
and I want to maybe incite the audience here, because what is your light bulb? What is your flashpoint? Because really the flashpoint represents the light bulb represents the flashpoint, right? It's that moment. The moment in time when that final iteration happens, where it makes sense. The moment of clarity and validation. What could your light bulb moment be? What could your light bulb moment be for you?
Yeah.
We're in the present. What could it be for you? And that leads me into Mandy's got an exciting, I would call this a flashpoint, because it's just so amazing what has transpired. So why don't we share a little bit, because we're going to
just a little bit. So I'm going to show one thing. I'm going to take it out of the folder because I think it will make it easier to show.
Perfect.
But this is my certificate, my certificate of appreciation. And each town crier did get one of these. They haven't had the final count yet as to how many town criers around the world did this, but each one did receive one of these. This is a certificate of appreciation for taking part in the Queen's Jubilee celebrations. So I will do my best.
Here, let me remove myself here.
Oh, it's just so difficult to do this. There it is. There it is. Might be difficult to read, but that is Her Majesty when she was crowned on June the 2nd, 1953. And purple is a royal color. And then the wording is at the bottom of congratulations and gratitude for taking part in the Queen's Jubilee. So that was the one. And the other one is, I'll just say that every town crier that has partaken, including bagpipe bands, everybody that's partaken according to the palace in the Queen's Jubilee celebrations, has gone on to or into a book which has an honor roll. And this is part of the honor roll for Canadian town criers. And this is quite difficult. You probably won't be able to see it, but there's the Canadian flag, and underneath are all the Canadian town criers, and my name and my town is fourth up from the bottom. So this is a 140-page book that will sit in Buckingham Palace for generations to come, with all the people that took part, with an invitation from the palace.
That's a cowbell.
That's a real cowbell. Yes,
that's a once in a
lifetime thing. I'm almost back to grounding. It's been a week. It was a week yesterday, but I'm still. It's almost like a veil of humility and gratitude, and now this depth of understanding. The impact has hit me. That this is history that will never ever be made again for anybody. And yours truly is in that book. Yours truly has taken part, and we will get more into that later on. So it's a very humbling experience. I'm very grateful. I'm very honored, and to have represented my town and the townsfolk here. And what I'm just going to give a shout out to the town of Coburg admin, because they went to town, no pun intended, to have something very special done. You know, anybody could have just done what we're going to see later on, but they wanted something royal, professional, and it's also a legacy in Victoria Hall in Coburg, Ontario. So yeah, little old me, I can still hardly believe it.
It's amazing. And the fact, because of the technology today, now you have official documents. We'll get into that. You have a video. We're going to share that.
Yes.
So there's lots of, like, this is just one of those things that you've dedicated your life to becoming a speaker, a distinguished Toastmaster, a poet.
Yes.
Your book you just accomplished. And we have another, well, we're not going to let that out now, but we have another little trick. I don't want to say a trick, but another little thing that could be amazing for Mandy. We'll save that for another day, another time. But what a great story. So I'm eager to get into that story. And it's about 12:15.
Don't we have a special guest?
We will soon, but I want to talk to the audience here, and whether you're on the playback, you're live, like, I want you to think about moments in your life, like defining moments in your life where maybe something like that happened that was so far out of the ordinary, like here with Mandy, a story that when you look back, you're like, oh my goodness, like you're almost in awe, right? So it's like surreal. You ever have one of those memories where you look back and it's almost, you can't believe it, that it's
an out of body experience.
Right. And you're just like, wow. And when you think back to that earlier version of yourself, maybe 10 years prior to that moment, where that thing was almost impossible in your mind, it was so far in the future. And then all of a sudden you get to experience it and you get to live it. And you're just amazed. And that's what we're going to be sharing here soon. So Mandy, let's do this, since we're going to shift gears here a little bit.
Absolutely. Let's shift gears.
We have a documentary that Flashpoint, another amazing experience. We just completed a documentary.
That documentary is absolutely incredible. And I think you were on an interview with Jose yesterday, and you brought out a very, very key point to anybody that is in business or looking to get themselves out there. And maybe people don't think about this, but a documentary is the key to being not just in people's faces, but in their minds, stirring the cogs to make them think, and creating a flashpoint for their business. So this documentary, because, and I've seen some of it, rightly so, because it's so vulnerable and so transparent, and because you've exposed the core of who you are and the struggles that you've come through to get to where you are today, and the stuff that you've had to give up. And you also mentioned the chaos that was created because of what you let go.
Yeah.
but has brought you to here today. And this documentary involves other people in our community who have also had flashpoint moments, breakthroughs. I mean, you referred back to the book. I'm just going to show it.
Yes.
2 years ago, 2 years ago, before I met you, that would have still been in the closet probably today. But I got into my writing career. I'd been writing my whole life, but I got into my career because I met you, and you asked me to be in your first Flashpoint book, co-authored the Flashpoint book. So the other people that you're going to see in the documentary, this is their experience of what you bring to the table and what it's done for their lives. And there is nothing more powerful than the verbal testimony of somebody who is immersed in anything. And I can speak from experience. I sing your praises galore,
Yes.
because I am completely immersed of the premise of Flashpoint, what you bring to the table. And I also believe it's because I relate to much of what you've gone through yourself.
Yes.
And other people in the documentary, there are other people in the documentary who have had similar experiences. To see this and to hear them say, because of this or because of that, I had a Flashpoint breakthrough, and now I find myself with Austin J. Haynes. It's absolutely incredibly powerful. And even if we were to part ways right now, and I'm not saying that's the point, but even if we were to part ways now, everything that I have in here, everything that I've become, even more than what I was 2 years ago. Heck, I've even got my own TV show on a Wednesday night, inspiring poetry and discussion. And this is what happens when you say to yourself, I'm worthy, I'm deserving, there's a higher calling in me, and I need to step into it. I don't want to regret anything throughout my life. Take a hold of the intuition that is moving you to say there is something bigger inside of you. That's what happened to you. Yes, you got a successful career and big money, whatever, but you weren't fulfilled. You were missing something. And it wasn't until you stepped into that, I want to inspire other people. I want to show people what it takes to get to where I am, how I've been able to break free from corporate and turn what my experience has taught me into great benefit and inspiration for other people. And this documentary encompasses all of that on a mini scale. And I'm telling you, I cry every time. Every time. I cried at the last one that you put up because it is so moving. It is so heart-centered. And to use your phrase, it touches you. It touches your soul. In other words, it touches life. How many other people out there are doing what you do? And I've been with Tony Robbins, Brendan Bouchard, Grant Cardone, Wayne Dyer, Gary Cox. I've been with all the bigwigs. And there is nothing. Yes, they're good, and what they do in their own right is fantastic. But you, and I'm just going to say it again, you don't have the big guns keeping you safe from the crowd. You step into people's lives, and people are allowed to step into yours. And it enables them to be vulnerable and to come out of their shell. So you put your heart on the line. That's what resonated with me. That's what still resonates with me, because I'm a heart-centered person.
Well, I am almost speechless here, but what we're going to do, I'm going to share the trailer because I'm just,
yes,
wow.
Go for it.
I'm going to share the trailer. It's a couple minutes, and then we're going to come back. We have a special guest for you. Absolutely. This is going to be amazing. So stay with this, share it with somebody who needs some inspiration. Let's give me a little bit of grace here with the tech, and we will make this happen. So this is literally a 2-minute clip here that we put together. The documentary premiere is going to be next Tuesday at 8:15 p.m. But in the meantime,
register for that.
We'll get you. I'm going to share that link.
The link
for you.
Perfect.
But let's see if we can share this this quick clip here right now. So here we go. My life is over. These words came out of my mouth at one of my lowest points in life. I was at my lowest point, void of clarity, inspiration, or meaning. The thing I needed to change was the way I looked at myself. In the midst of all the chaos, confusion that you might go through, there's a moment of validation and clarification. Flashpoint, manifesting the moment of your big breakthrough. And that's the beautiful thing about Flashpoint, is that it happens in us first. And that was the birthplace of Flashpoint. Flashpoint is like coming in like a flash saying, no, there's more. Information's everywhere. Experience is rare. Enter Flashpoint. They so desire, they want to win in their lives. They want the big breakthrough. And we provide that environment for them to win. Most recently, I launched the Rocky campaign. Sure enough, I'm doing these videos every day. People start to meet me. I have guests literally at the Rocky steps, and we're pouring out these informational content. And next thing you know, it gave birth to the Rocky experience, which we've added to Flashpoint. And now we just completed the first ever Rocky experience with the Flashpoint Live Immersion. They want to climb these steps in physical form as a metaphor for their own lives. So there you have it. Let's remove that and bring Mandy back on here.
Very moving.
So that full documentary is going to be available to you, and you can register for that. That's going to be next Tuesday, June 14th at 8:15 p.m. It's the first time we're releasing the full 20-minute version to a select group of individuals. If you want to join, I will drop the link in the chat, and I will share the QR code for those of you that are on Apple TV, Amazon, Roku. You can grab that QR code and you can get registered and be a part of the audience that's going to be enjoying this for the first time. So we'll get back to that. Let's transition. I'm excited about today's guest.
Yes, Mr. Christoff J. Weihman from the Ultimate Speaking Competition platform.
Yeah, so it's amazing the power of connection. So through somebody who's become a great friend, he was an author on our book, Mr. Gordon Burdecki of Garage Fitness, and the author of Unleashing the Ultimate You, connected me with Christoff. And when I learned about what he's building, and I'm not going to steal his thunder because I want to bring him on, but I do want to share a little bit about him so you get a little bit of a feel of his background, that we can get into more. But he is America's favorite 5-star customer experience expert. He's an accomplished international speaker in his own right, best-selling author, and he's a speaker coach. Through his company, Aspire Enterprises, he inspires, trains, and empowers individuals and organizations all over the country to elevate the service they deliver to their clientele. His clients, Mandy, listen to this, MGM Resorts International. Have you heard of them?
Yes. Wow.
The Bartenders Union.
Wow.
Kirby, Dream Hotels, and more. But here's why we have Christoff on today. He's the creator and producer of the Ultimate Speaker Competition. Are you a speaker? You're going to want to pay attention. He launched it in 2019. It serves as a platform for empowering speakers to their greatness. He is also the host of the podcast, It's Your Time to Shine. So I think what's really cool about him, before I bring him on, he lives out in Las Vegas, but he has 4 other, I don't want to call them people, but 4 other individuals, we'll call them, that I'll let him share about that. So everybody, I want you to just get the hearts, type in, help me welcome Mr. Christoff J. Weihman.
Yes. Woo! Woo! Bring it on, Christoff. Woo!
Austin J. Haynes and Mandy
Namaste.
Robinson. Well, here
My
I'm going to do something
friend.
that I do from time to time. I'm only going to do it for a millisecond, and I'm going to ring my gratitude bell.
Yes. Yes.
If you read right there, it reads, bring the gratitude. And gratitude, as we know, is one of the highest vibrations, right? So why not start off with a little bit of gratitude? I'm grateful to be here. Austin, you're doing amazing work. And yes, thanks to Gordon Brodecki, making the connection between you and myself. And, it's all about relationships, right? And connections and being in proximity with people that are also doing great things. Mandy, I have not met you until now, but I was listening to Namaste. I was listening to you earlier. I mean, we are all in alignment. You mentioned, saying to yourself, I'm worthy and I have a higher calling inside of me. This is it. We're in this, just the same mindset, energy, etc. But Austin, it's your show. I'm just a guest. Hello.
I'm glad you're here, man. All the way from Las Vegas.
Yes.
Why don't you share your little compadres? I think that would be a cool thing.
Oh, I can't.
Oh, well, you can mention them.
I can mention them. Yes. So my wife is a nurse. She actually runs one of the major hospitals here in Las Vegas. And who he's referring to is our 4 little fur babies, Lily, Carly, Yeti, Bruno, and Yeti Boy. But my wife just got home from night shift about an hour ago. And so we always have this wonderful challenge of them being excited when mommy's coming in the door, when daddy's still trying to sleep, and then the transition, and then me getting ready for my day. But they are our pride and joy. And an upcoming show, I will make sure that we'll be able to show them on the show. So
yeah, or we can drop a picture later.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so we have a little bit of time. I want the audience just to learn maybe a little bit something about your background, because there's always when I talk to anyone, I know, man, that you got some stories that got you here. It just didn't just like, hey, let me just show up, and like there's an incredible story. Maybe we can just touch that. And I really want to get into what you're going to be doing here in Philadelphia. I actually talked to Gordon this morning. We can get into that a little bit, and definitely want to have you come back maybe in a couple of weeks once we get closer, so we can talk more about it.
Absolutely. I'll give you the 17-second version, I guess, or a little bit longer. I've been, it's interesting. I say that I've only been a speaker for a handful of years, 6, 7 years, I guess 7 or 8 years since I started my entrepreneurial journey. But actually, if we back up, when I was 19 years old, I went overseas with a non-denominational Christian mission organization. And I lived in the Pacific and Asia, primarily in the Philippines. And I learned to read, write, speak 2 of the main Philippine languages. I studied linguistics at the university in Manila. And then I got married there. So my previous wife is from the Philippines. We have 2 wonderful children that are obviously half Filipino. I still speak Tagalog, which is the national language. But I thought that my whole life was going to be there in service in the capacity as being a missionary in ministry. And I lived for 13 years in the Pacific and Asia, 11 and a half of those years with this mission organization. And then, as they say, life happens, and that's a whole nother story. But I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. That was already 13 years of my life. I actually did a little bit of acting in the Philippines, believe it or not. Wow. All Asian countries that have a movie industry, if they have a decent budget, they will hire 1 or 2 Americanos. And so I was that person in these small budget movies. Then I eventually made my way back to the United States. I landed in Los Angeles, knew nobody there, but I knew I wanted to, quote unquote, I know we're on video and audio, but I'm doing air quotes, pursue acting. So I was pursuing the dream for quite a while in LA, another 12 years. But I got distracted, but it was a great experience. I loved and hated Los Angeles. But what I know is that everything that I experienced, everything that I learned, everything that I went through, I'm sure that you probably feel the same way, brings us to where we are today. And while something may not have lasted to the amount of time that we would have expected it to, it still informs us and molds us to where we are and what our next step is. So I thought I was going to live my life as a missionary, preaching, right? Being of service to God and to others. That ended, or did it? Then I thought, I'm going to be an actor. I want to be on stage. I'm a pretty good actor. In real life, I can't hide my feelings, but on stage, I'm a really good actor. And so that ended, but did it? And then all of these different things, just being involved in business and leadership, et cetera. And now, 2 years ago, as you mentioned, then I landed in customer service. That's a whole nother story, which has been my primary business for the last 6 years until, the world shut down, because my primary clients were in the hotel and restaurant industry. Well, we know that they all went on hiatus for 2 years. But in the meantime, I always was involved with events. And just like you said, Mandy, you've been to so many different events. And I've worked in so many different capacities. As first as just a volunteer, helping run the back of the room, sales table, just being an attendee, and then eventually becoming an MC, a host, a co-producer, bringing speakers to other people's events, et cetera, et cetera. And I felt like I saw a gap in the market where there's an opportunity to create something that is a competition, but it's so much more than that. And this is how Ultimate Speaker Competition was born. I've had the pleasure of, as all of us do, of having wonderful mentors, one of them being Les Brown. I've had the opportunity to share the stage with him, be in some trainings and coachings with him to serve him as well. And I always quote him, as you know, he says, "I don't know you." So Mandy, I can say this to you. I don't know you until now. And
That's
Austin,
that's not true.
Well, okay, that's a whole other
met.
conversation. There we go. I don't know you, but I know something about you. I know that you have gifts and talents and abilities. You have something special that only you are meant to bring to this world. You have greatness within you. And our slogan, our mission for Ultimate Speaker Competition, as you mentioned in the introduction, Austin, is empowering speakers to share their greatness. So we created this event that, even though the brand says Ultimate Speaker Competition, as it has grown and evolved, the one coming up in Philadelphia, July 22 to 24, will be our 8th one that we've done since 2019. I like it. You got the bell too. Our 8th one. So that means that even during the lockdown, we were doing it in 2020, we did it in December in Las Vegas, wearing masks. Because of the capacity, remember, only 25% capacity. So we were in this beautiful big ballroom in Green Valley Ranch here in Las Vegas that could seat about 200 people, but we were limited to only having 40 people in the room. So we had this massive room, and everybody's wearing a mask as they get up on stage, as they're all around. And then once they get up on stage and they're by themselves and they're more than 6 feet away from everybody, they can take off the mask. So there's all this video of me putting my mask on, taking it off, putting my mask on, taking it off as I introduce the people. But we did it. We did it. And
absolutely,
speakers need to speak. Speakers, and here's the thing, is that we attract speakers. It's for speakers of all levels. Sometimes people will say, "This looks like an awesome event for beginners." I said, "Well, why does it say it? It says nothing about it being just for beginners." Other speakers will look at our website or hear about the event, and they'll say, "Wow, this is such an awesome event. It looks really great, but man, I'm not a pro yet. I'm not that good yet." It's for everybody. We get speakers from
I love that.
all sides of the spectrum. We always get some people that it's their first, second, or third time on stage.
Absolutely.
And then we have people that have been speaking for 5, 10, 20 years, and all in between. And here's the commonality. And it's the same thing, Mandy. You said it. Heart-centered people.
You got it.
If you are a heart-centered leader, speaker, whether you're an aspiring or seasoned, and you are on a mission to make a positive impact in the world, and you want to share your greatness, share your gift, because your gift is not for you. You
It's
have
to give
share
away.
it.
Share it. Yes,
Then
I've got
this
goosebumps
is
all over
your
me.
event. And another word, then I'll be quiet for a second. I'm just trying to give you the whole overview.
We're going to give you got a couple minutes. I want to be able to reflect back to you because you just shared so much.
You also use a term that is, indicative of what your brand is about, and that's transformation. And more we are seeing that our event is in essence a mini transformational event.
Yes.
So in addition to competition, we say this: it's about connection, competition, and collaboration. And yes, we have awards and prizes, and yes, there's trophies, but I would say probably half of the people that come, they really don't even care about the competitive aspect of it against others. Many people say to me, the competition is with me. I'm competing with me.
Right.
How can I be better than I was yesterday? And with that heart, that energy, that spirit, it has just evolved into this beautiful event that now is attracting attention. At our last one here in Las Vegas in April, just a month and a half ago, we had the Los Angeles Tribune as our major media sponsor. And again, this comes from relationships. David Fagan, who was our featured speaker, introduced me to Mo Rock, the CEO of the Los Angeles Tribune. Mo Rock happens to be involved with the Napoleon Hill Foundation, which just coincidentally, they kick off their Think and Grow Rich, Can You Really Think and Grow Rich tour today. And not only am I given the opportunity to be a speaker on this platform, I'll be speaking on Saturday, tomorrow.
Congratulations. Yes.
Our winner was given a feature in the Los Angeles Tribune, and he is a featured speaker on this tour. So just so many amazing.
We got to stop. That's cowbell. That's cowbell. That's why we do the cowbell.
Yes. Ring your gratitude bell. Ring your gratitude bell.
I can't because my wife's sleeping in the other room. So I only did it at one moment.
Congratulations to you on the
That's awesome.
Think and Grow Rich tour. And this is just I love this because we talked about, it's that ripple. Like once you get out there and there's a ripple effect that you've created, and now you got these connections, and DJ just shared that. It made the relationships and connections. And I'm going to turn it over to Mandy. I just want to say that your story explains why you're doing what you're doing, why it's thriving. And I want to drive this point home. The Ultimate Speaker Competition is a great brand and it's great. But to your point, I want people to understand that the relationships, the stories, the heart, the tears, there's all that it's all in there under that name. So I just want to make sure people understand that this isn't, I'm going to show up and do a speaker like this is.
It's not that. There are entities that do that, and they're wonderful, and they stand alone in that respect. You come in, you compete, boom, boom, boom. You repeat your presentation over and over again. You move on, all that good stuff. This is it's an experience.
Absolutely,
it's an experience.
Wonderful. So, Mandy, I know you were taking some notes, so I'd love for
yeah. I won't go back into the background because we're coming close on time here, but I love the fact that you are much a man after my own heart, and Austin's in that. I always say this. I left a 30-year abusive relationship 17 years ago, and right where I am today in this moment of time, everything that's happened before me has brought me step by step to this moment in my life. And this is how you affect life itself. I love the fact that you saw a gap in the industry during lockdown. And it actually made me smile because I'm an ambassador for my town, and I was to do this wedding in Toronto of 3,000 guests, ended up being a wedding of 50 people here in Coburg because of the lockdown. So there you are with 40 people on this stage. It was your number 8. Actually, number 8 will be in 2024. But the point was, you attract speakers of all levels. And you know how important that is, because I'm a distinguished Toastmaster, right? So I've been all the way to the top. I've been in competitions. Incredible. I'm still working towards the world stage, but everybody starts at the bottom. at the same level, no ands, ifs, or buts, same programs to go through. And you do that in such a way that people are not intimidated. They're actually attracted to and brought to your platform because of the way you have it laid out for them. I think that is, I got goosebumps. And again, this heart-centeredness.
Yeah.
A servant leader has to act from here. And as you said, we have the gifts inside. What for? To keep them in here and say, no, they're mine? No, they're to share with the world. And every human being, especially the ones that come onto your platform, have that opportunity to share the abilities that are in them. And it can be, you know, I'm just starting to speak. It can be 20 years down the road, but they have the opportunity because you see the gifts in other people, as I do, as Austin does, and the people and God. I love God, Brodecki. That's how you and I met, right? And you're not remembering this, but you've been trying to get me on that. You've been trying to get me on that
Andy,
stage.
you
for
know what?
several
Now
years.
I just got a flash in my
Light
brain
bulb,
about
light bulb, light bulb.
Flashpoint.
Facebook Messenger
Hello.
stream
Hello.
that you have commented, you have liked. I
Yes.
messaged you and you said,
Yes.
sounds good. I'm in Canada. I just want to clarify a couple of things, if I may.
Yes,
Our
please.
You got a couple minutes. Yeah, go for it.
Our 8th one will be this one coming up in 20, and it's July 22nd to 24th. That's why you thought 2024.
Okay.
By 2024, we'll be international.
12 or 13 or something.
We'll
right?
be. Here's the other thing. Going back to the gifts.
Yes, I'm just at that point.
I'm becoming a little bit more, I won't say aggressive, but sometimes in conversations. Assertive, yes. See, here's the thing. When you go on the website, ultimatespeakercompetition.com, there's nowhere to swipe your credit card and say, sign up. The conversation is the application.
It's with you. You got it.
Exactly.
You got it.
And
Austin?
Oftentimes people restrain or they hold themselves back like, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. But here's the thing. If you are a speaker and you are listening, or you're even aspiring to be a speaker, but you have something inside of you, you are cheating people.
Yes.
That are waiting for you to show up. And this is a message that people don't like to hear, but I've heard it and I have embraced it for myself. And every time I say it, I'm saying it to myself because I know that all of us have the capacity to show up in a bigger, a more powerful, a more impactful way, because that's why we're here. You know, don't die with your gift within inside you.
Yes.
If you're a singer, you don't have to ask yourself, what do you think I should sing? Yeah, you should sing. That's your gift.
Absolutely.
If you're a speaker, even if you're still developing it, polishing it, whatever it is, somebody's waiting for you. You don't have to be perfect. Yes, it's competition does not matter, but I'm telling you, yes, let's show up.
Show up.
My friend Andy Audate says the opportunity is in the show up. Don't come and check it out. I'm going to think about it. Oh, let me see what it's like. Sounds good. No, you jump in, and I tell you, you will be blessed. You will be blown away. You're going to have to buy new socks. You want to know why?
Knock your socks.
You knock your socks off. Yes.
All right. So everyone, Christoff, we're going to have you back on maybe in a couple of weeks as we get closer to the event.
Goodbye.
No, I just want to get this in. I just want to get this in.
Yeah, go for it.
I just want to get this in because you've just hit the nail on the head. We're going to be talking about my grandfather in a little bit, but
yes,
you sounded just like my grandfather when I said to him at a very young age, I'm no good, Granddad. I'm no good. And he just took me by the hands, looked into my eyes, and he said, young lady, how dare you say that you don't have good inside of you to share with this world? How dare you? Now, this was a young child with a war veteran.
Sure.
I've got the goosebumps, but this is how you sounded, and this is how you ended. This is how you ended. Very, very important. It's a mini transformational experience, not just for the speaker, but for all the people that come into that environment. We incite each other to love and find works, right?
Yes.
We don't compete with other people, although, yes, there's accolades and prizes. We compete with ourselves to rise and be better. And your key motto, which, again, I've got goosebumps all over, connection, competition, and collaboration.
Mm.
This builds relationships. Thank you so much for being here.
Awesome. Mandy, we got to get to you. We told people we're going to share your experience with the Queen,
Yes.
so we want to transition. Christoff, thank you. Thank you
so much.
Namaste.
Super excited. We are coming to Philadelphia, and it's going to be a blast.
I'm going to be on your platform.
So we'll have you back on in a couple
days.
weeks. Stay tuned for that, everyone.
Remember me.
Christoff, if you want to drop a link in the chat, please do. If you want to
Sure.
create a connection point for people now.
Absolutely. I will do that, and then I will bid you adieu. Thank you so
Have
much.
a great
so
day.
much,
Thank you. Namaste.
Cheers. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
Mandy.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. So it's all happening again. You know, he also just reminded me, you've got something special there about the Queen that you were going to share, right? A video?
Oh, yes.
The video? Yes. Light bulb moment. Light bulb
moment. In. You strap in. This
strap
is
in.
life-changing right now.
I'm shaking. I'm shaking.
So here we go.
Oh.
Just give me a minute. Mandy, you want to give me a little bit of a setup? I'm going to do the tech transition.
Okay. So anybody that knows me, I am a town crier. A town crier is an appointed role by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. It goes way back to Roman times. It became a royally appointed position. And this was the Queen's Jubilee, 70th Jubilee year celebration. She's the longest reigning monarch on the British throne ever. It will never be repeated again in history. And every town crier was sent a special decree to announce her proclamations of the Jubilee celebrations at 2 p.m. on June the 2nd. June the 2nd, 1953 was the year that she was crowned the Queen of England. And around the globe on that day, last week at 2 p.m., I truly, along with all my town crier brethren, had the opportunity, the rare, historical, incredible, humbling opportunity to sing her praises in our communities. And that's the setup to the video. My town had this professionally done because they want it in the archives. They want it for legacy for generations to come. And plus it will be going to the palace along with the photographs. I'm still flying high.
All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Here we go. Give me a second here. We're going to share this. This is absolutely amazing. All right, let me start it. Oh, yep.
Oh, yay! Oh, yay! Oh, yay! Today in our nation and throughout the Commonwealth, we are celebrating our glorious Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Elizabeth, the second of that name, our most beloved sovereign and head of the Commonwealth for 70 years. How apt that this should be the platinum anniversary of her accession. Platinum, that most noble of metals, more precious even than gold. And so it is in honor of this unique occasion that beacons will be lit this evening throughout the United Kingdom, the Channel Islands, the Isle of Man, and the United Kingdom overseas territories, and in all the capital cities of the Commonwealth. Let it be known, in proclaiming this tribute to Her Majesty the Queen on her Platinum Jubilee, that we are one nation and one Commonwealth. God save the Queen.
Wow.
I still can't believe that's me. That was filmed in the Old Bailey courthouse, which is the exact replica of the Old Bailey in London, England, which I have also been in. And that sits in Victoria Hall here, which is a beautiful, beautiful 1800 building that was made and given to Queen Victoria by the then future King Edward VII of England as a birthday present for his grandmother. And the biggest ball, so the biggest event, party, dancing and everything, the future King Edward VII at that time held the biggest ball that's ever been heard of in Canada's history. And it happened here in that ballroom where I've danced many times myself. So you want a little bit of background. I think this is very important, and this was only brought to
I want you to share the documents that
you want to see the documents
officially from the Buckingham Palace, these documents that you received, and that video is going to be sent. That video is going to be a part of this historic, momentous occasion. Yeah, there's the official document.
So that is the certificate of gratitude and appreciation for my role as the town crier, and every town crier has received one of those. So it's absolutely beautiful, and purple, of course, is the royal color. And then the other document is just the page out of the book that will be in Buckingham Palace now for legacy generations to come. This is the Roll Book of Honor, and that's Niagara Falls. That's a Canadian town crier. But this, if I can just do it, this section here is the Canadian town criers' names, town, and what they stand for. And I'm fourth up from the bottom. So my name is in this Book of Honor that will now sit in Buckingham Palace along with all my brethren.
So they want to see if you could snap a picture and post it up there later.
Yes, I will do that. It's
12:53, Mandy.
Yep.
Well, I'd love you want to share the story of your grandfather.
That's where I was going. I'll share it very, very briefly because I know we're running out of time. But at the age of 7, I was given a gift. It was a small tin. There was an oyster inside. I had to pull it out. He opened the shell. The stench was revolting. I'm 7 years old. He's giving me a gift. I don't understand. I keep saying, Granddad, I don't understand. And he said, you've got to take your little finger and thumb, reach inside, and you will pull something very precious out. And it was gooey. It was squidgy. I was retching because the smell was disgusting. And then I touched something hard, and I pulled out this real pearl from within the oyster's soft mantle interior. And the story behind it, which is what my grandfather told me at the age of 7, he said, that pearl is one of the rarest, most beautiful things on the earth. He said, and to create it, the oyster went through tremendous pain and suffering because a small grain of sand lodged itself in its soft mantle interior. It couldn't expel it, so it shed tears. And oysters cry salt water just like human beings do. So it formed concentric layers with its tears around the intruder, and that's what became the pearl. I still have the pearl today. And he said to me, you will not understand this, sweetheart, he said, but Granddad wants you to remember his words as you go through life. You are going to go through tremendous pain and suffering. And at some point in the distant future, this metaphor of the oyster will be synonymous of you turning into a beautiful human being. I'm 7 years old. I'm excited. It means nothing. I thank you, Granddad, and off I go. And somebody said to me just 2 days ago that you do realize you've come full circle. It's about 50 years. You've come full circle from when my grandfather knew that and said that to me. And I can hardly believe it. And here I am representing the Queen of England in my community here and all this stuff going on. So there's also another synonymous thing happening there because my grandfather started his career at the age of 18 at Buckingham Palace. He was a footman. And at the age of 19, he actually held our Queen Elizabeth when she was a 6-week-old princess. Wow. The Queen Mother handed her to him as she was getting out of the carriage. Wow. And then he worked his way up to become head chef in Buckingham Palace. And the other thing to that, he died the same day as Princess Diana, 7 hours after her. There was not a flower in London, England, because it had all gone to the funeral of Princess Diana. And I asked my uncle, I said, I don't care what it takes. I know you can do it. You have to find me 12 white roses. He goes, Mandy, he says, you're asking me to do something that's impossible. He says, there's no flowers in London, right? This is how they speak there. And I said, please just do it. He found the 12 roses and he made them into the posy in the same manner as the one that sat on Diana's coffin. He had that made and it sat on my grandfather's coffin in like manner. And I have a dried rose from that posy. And when my grandparents celebrated their 75th wedding anniversary, Queen Elizabeth II closed down 5 towns around London. It was on the newspapers, television and everything. And she threw the biggest street party since the war to celebrate my grandparents' 75th wedding anniversary. The history in my blood is just...
It's amazing.
That's how much of an honor and how humbled and grateful I am that I got chosen to do this. I'm fighting the tears here.
It's amazing. It's amazing. You deserve it. I'm so glad that you had that experience. It's forever. You have it. It's a memory. It can be handed down. And DJ saying, you are royal. What's that song? Cue the song. They said we'll never be royals, but you are royal. You are royal.
Who would have thought?
I'll be ringing the cowbell for you here. But no, it's amazing. We do have about 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
As promised, I want to give everybody that's in the internet TV world a
want to see the
chance.
Documentary.
Well,
no, we did the documentary.
I want to give them a chance to sign up. So I'm going to put the QR code up on the screen. And obviously, if you're doing playback, it'll be easy. You can just pause it. And for those of you on social media world, I dropped the link in the chat. I'll drop it there again before we say goodbye. But here's the QR code.
Yes, mate, that's very important.
You just simply put your camera up to that.
Yes.
An iPhone will pick it up automatically. An Android, you may have to download a QR code scanner, but nevertheless, it's there for you. And let me see if I can drop the link in for Facebook, YouTube audience. You can register for the documentary, and it's $12.59. And Mandy, it's been an amazing show.
This has been an incredible show, and I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for everybody on here and our guest, Christoff Weihman. And I can't say enough. Anybody here catches the replay, click on that link, come and listen to this documentary, and get on a call with Austin. Get on a call with Austin. He's doing something that nobody else in my lifetime has ever done in the way of being inspirational to other people.
Wow.
And I'm speaking from experience.
Wow.
Please make that phone call and get involved. You will not regret it, ever.
Yeah, I really appreciate your words. I'm humbled. I trust that even if you don't talk to me, but you watch the documentary, that alone could be enough to change
move
your
you
perspective, really. So
yes.
It's not so much if you want to connect, we're building something. We want you, but if you don't, you just want to watch. For some of you, you might just watch this today. You might just watch the documentary and something flashes in your mind.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to go do this. Or you might see yourself differently. You're like, wow. And I just had this happen over the past few days. People starting to see themselves in
a different light. Yes.
From a different angle. And you're like, wow. It all depends. See, the way you've been looking at yourself may not be the right way. You might be looking at yourself with the wrong glasses on. And what you need, hold on, before we close out, where are they?
You have the ingredients to make the recipe.
Yeah, here.
The recipe of life, right? He's got all the ingredients. We just have to join in.
Never leave the camera, but I did anyway. You need your glasses. You need your Flashpoint glasses to see the world better. DJ is going to be joining us all the way from Texas.
Hey, all the way from Canada is coming. no matter what.
That's right. Canada, that's for Flashpoint Live. So anyway, everyone, God bless you. Have a fantastic day. This is royalty. This is the ultimate speaker competition. This is Flashpoint. This is a time in history that we need to embrace. We need to, the power is always in the hands of the people, and the people they're made up by the individual, and the individual is you.
So take a hold of yourself.
Grab it.
Break through.
Real quick,
Thanks,
we may have
everyone.
a new day and time next week, so I will be announcing that. We may be broadcasting on Thursday, so just stay tuned for that. I will put that announcement out. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Have a great weekend. God bless everyone.